The race to signing Mohammed Mudryk is heating up after Chelsea coming in through and we doing the needful. But Mikel Arteta has gone ahead and tasked Edu, the sporting director, to quicken the Mudryk deal after the approval of these two deals all by the owner of Arsenal, known as Stanley Kroenke. Then we have another story of Mohammed Kudus. Arsenal is really keeping tabs on Mohammed Kudus. You know, Mohammed Kudus plays for Ajax. He's a Ghanaian international, left-footed. He plays in every position of the front four. You know that very well. And lastly, good Gabriel Jesus injury progress that we've gotten. He has now put the clutches down. He's walking without clutches, meaning that his progress is really happening at a very, very quickening speed. Welcome to Rokani Media. How are you guys? And where you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. And if you're only watching us for the very first time, lower right bottom corner, that's the place to be. And subscribe, guys. Subscribe because we want to hit 10,000 subscribers and we are not far away from hitting 10,000 subscribers. Now, let's kickstart it off with Mikel Arteta. It looks like Mikel Arteta is really desperate and so much frustrated by how the Arsenal board is really taking things. Now, when asked on signings, Mikel Arteta said it's a question for Edu and the board to respond. We are trying to improve the squad in every window. This is not different. We will do our best because we cannot waste any window with the squad numbers that we have. So we shall try. I think this time around, as I've always told you, Arsenal have learned from what they did in January of 2022. In January of 2022, they had to bring in 1 or 2 signings to really put themselves into a better position to qualify for the Champions League. But because they never signed and Spurs brought in Bentancur and Kulusevski, everything had to not happen in their favor and happen in the favor of Spurs. Now, they are leading the table with 8 points ahead of Man City. Man City is playing Chelsea tomorrow, and we don't know how everything is going to fold out for this game. If at all it falls out in a draw, then Arsenal will go back to their 7-point lead. If at all it falls out in a win of Man City, then Arsenal will be back to a 5-point win. If at all Chelsea happens to beat Man City, then Arsenal will be having an 8-point lead or gap ahead of Man City. So that shows you how serious this is getting, and Mikel Arteta is getting frustrated and worried because he expected Mudryk to be at Arsenal in the first week, meaning that he was supposed to play the game of Oxford to get into the team or to get integrated into the team. Then he gets his full debut. Then he gets his Premier League debut against Tottenham Hotspur. Not in the sort that was going to start, but to have another threat from the bench. Watch the game of Newcastle. You get? Even the game of Brighton was really indicating it that when he really took off Ben White, Odegaard, and is it Thomas Partey? And Zinchenko, there was a total drop-off, and Arsenal conceded 2 goals after taking off those players. So that shows you how a drop-off is huge every time he does that. Look at yesterday when they are playing Newcastle. The only player he could trust to put on the field of play from his entire bench of close to 8-7 players, it was Tomiyasu, a defender, yet Arsenal needed a forward player to go on and really get on magic to see either they win the game of football, and that was how the game of football really panned out yesterday. He had no options of players to act in the forward position. That's why he's really yearning for Edu to go out and really do this deal as soon as possible. As that is happening, Chelsea is also trying to go on and really hijack this deal, but the good thing is this player also wants to play for Arsenal. There is nothing else apart from him wanting to play for Arsenal, and obviously we are waiting to see how things are really going to go ahead and really pan out from the situation of Mikel Arteta. And obviously Edu knows it very well that they need players that are really going to go ahead and really get this job done as soon as possible, because the more they delay, the more points they drop. If Mudryk and João Felix were at Arsenal for the game of Newcastle, no points would have been dropped. But I believe before the game of Spurs, I believe Arsenal would have signed in players to moreover. That's what I really believe. And again, The Guardian has told us that Arsenal are leading the race to sign Mohammed Mudryk after making a second offer of 44.2 plus add-ons, but Chelsea also are interested. Shakhtar have been holding out for 85 million pounds, that is 100 million euros, and Arsenal are yet to go that high. Chelsea could muscle it up by offering more money. That's it. So it is really looking tricky, and I think this is what is really frustrating Mikel Arteta on the player they've wanted for a very long time, and they might miss out on him. That's why he's telling Edu and the board, what are you doing? Get me the player. Get me the player. Because if you had to look through the finances of Arsenal, winning the Premier League, Arsenal would get like 500 million pounds instead of like 430 if at all they finish in the second position. If they qualify for the Champions League, Arsenal will have added close to 70 million pounds from Champions League money that they've not been getting since 2016. Thirdly, if they qualify for the Champions League, Adidas gives them more money than they give them where they are not in Champions League. You get? They might be offering them like 35 million pounds, but when they qualify for the Champions League, they might even get 80 million pounds. That's an addition of close to 40 million pounds. So I see to it that, why don't you bring in Mudryk, seal your top 4 positions, and get in 40 million pounds more from Adidas? Because the money they're offering is at 44 million pounds. You get? Add on more money, get in another player. All else, bring in João Felix. Because to me, I believe, most of Arsenal fans don't agree with me, but I've always told you, if Arsenal, I go out and sanction the loan deal of João Felix, because João Felix literally plays in all that 4 attacking positions of the midfield. Yesterday, you would play him into the Bukayo Saka role, you would play him into the Odegaard role, you could play him into the Martinelli role, you could bring him on to play into the Edin Ketia role. So any of those roles, he's perfect. So, to me, I believe, as this deal is really trying to take time, why doesn't Arsenal go in for João Felix? You get? Because for him, he's a finished article. He's a finished article. He'll come out and really add up things. He has experience. He has really terrorized very many huge teams. He's a big game player. And these big games that Arsenal are having, 3 of them, Spurs next weekend, Manchester United, and then Man City. Those are the next 3 games of Arsenal in the Premier League, meaning that they need a big game player to get this done and dusted. So let's wait and see how this is going to unfold. But looks like Arsenal are really looking desperate, and Mikel Arteta really wants a deal to get done immediately, because he feels like his squad is light, especially on the bench. He doesn't have forces, all Arsenals, to reckon with each and every time his team is really put under pressure, and every time the team is parking the bus, his team lacks options, because Bukayo Saka will do everything and it won't work out sometimes. Martinelli will do everything in his efforts, like yesterday. Odegaard passing out to find Xhaka and Nketiah, they don't score, meaning that you needed someone special to have that hold up play and to do one extra turn or one extra pass with brilliance that he has in the game of football, to see to it that he really wins the game of football. Now, looks like Arsenal have also tried out means of really... Looks like Arsenal have also tried out means of looking for another player who can really go ahead and really help them. And we are having a story coming in from Plettigol. They are reporting from Germany that... They are reporters from Germany, and they are telling us that Arsenal is interested in Mohammed Kudus. Mohammed Kudus is a 23-year-old Ghanaian player playing for a side called Ajax. He's really a very good and intelligent player. I really like the way he does his stuff. He's really one of the kind that you'll reckon with. He is really great, and I really love the way he does his stuff. Now, we've been told by Plettigol. Plettigol is really a very credible source coming in from Germany. He works for Sky Germany. He is really great. He's really great. I remember him popularly in the deal of Jadon Sancho to Manchester United. When United wanted him in the summer of 2020, he told us that he's not coming, and he never came. The next summer, he told us that Sancho is going to be a United player, and obviously he became a United player. Secondly, the deal of Ronaldo being linked to Bayern Munich, he contacted the board of Bayern Munich and they told him nothing is going to happen. Then I think Jude Bellingham, he also told us that Jude Bellingham is going nowhere until the summer. Even Haaland is the one who broke the news of Haaland that he has agreed a deal with City, and Borussia Dortmund are willing to go on and retake the amount of money because Man City are willing to trigger the buyout clause for Haaland. Now he has gone ahead to let us know the following about Arsenal and Mohammed Kudus. Dortmund wants him in summer. Plan: reinvesting the money of Bellingham. Loose talks took place, but no concrete negotiations at this stage. The player is aware of Dortmund's interest, but many other clubs are interested: Arsenal, Newcastle, and more. So, for Mohammed Kudus, I believe he benefits Arsenal a lot. He is really a talented player. You know, each and every time you are having players that can play in all the 4 attacking positions of the forward of your team, it's really better. Do you know why? I remember those days of Arsenal when they're having Thierry Henry, they're having Robert Perez, Freddie Ljungberg, and Dennis Bergkamp. The only constant that couldn't shift or be mobile was Dennis Bergkamp, because he was the engine. He was the heartbeat of the Arsenal system. But you would find Perez shifting from the left wing to the right wing, and Ljungberg could shift from the right and the left. Thierry Henry could shift to the right and Ljungberg becomes a striker. Thierry Henry could shift to the left and Perez becomes the center forward. So that mobility on the field of play really helps a team a lot. Imagine, let me give you an example. Imagine an Arsenal team that is having Kudus, Jesus, and João Felix. I think Martinelli. Let me say Martinelli, João Felix, Jesus, and Kudus. Because all of those players I'm talking about, they are really, really mobile. They are really mobile. That means in a game like yesterday when Arsenal is playing Newcastle, Newcastle's plan won't work out because Bukayo Saka won't be tight marked as he was, because he always tied himself onto the wide area of the right. You get? But if at all Bukayo Saka could switch in the midfield and Odegaard switches on the left, then Bukayo Saka switches onto the Martinelli side and Martinelli switches in the center or to the right. Then sometimes Martinelli switches onto the wing and Jesus goes or knocks himself onto the left. That mobility is what made teams like Barcelona under Pep Guardiola very hard to beat, because it was hard to mark Messi, Iniesta, Pedro, yeah. Those players were really too swift with Samuel Eto'o. They could swift. Samuel Eto'o swifts to the right, Messi goes to the middle, then Eto'o to the left, Messi to the right. You get? The way they could make those movements, it was really hard for them to really be beaten. This is why Man City is suffering. The kings of those movements left Man City. That is Sterling and Gabriel Jesus, because Man City used to be having mobility in their front 3, but right now there is no mobility because Haaland is a constant. He's an orthodox number 9. You have to create balls for him. That's why it's very easy to stop Man City right now to score, because the mobility was really reduced and it's no longer as how it used to be way back. So I believe Mohammed Kudus could be a good signing for Arsenal, and if at all they go ahead and really get that deal done, it will be something great for them. Lastly, let's talk about the main man known as Gabriel Jesus. Obviously, a man that Arsenal is missing badly, but he's working hard to see to it that he returns on time. We've been told by Simon Collins, is a correspondent for Arsenal for the Evening Standard. He has told us that Arsenal striker Gabriel Jesus is working without crutches after making a strong start to his recovery from the knee surgery. Jesus is just wearing a knee brace and he continues his rehab and is making good progress. Arsenal will not rush his recovery. But it's a very huge story and very huge boost for me as far as this Gabriel Jesus deal is concerned. If you are having him in your team, you know what it means. And I believe if Arsenal bring in the João Felix and Mudryk, he adds his stability or his talent, work rate, and goals to Arsenal. Obviously, he will really be a very good player, and his importance is going to be seen in these next 3 big games Arsenal is going to play, because I believe that single-handedly he won the game of Liverpool and he won the game of Spurs for Arsenal. You get? So, he has to come back quickly. That's it. But good news is that clutches are down. He's now willing to walk without clutches. He's wearing a new brace. Obviously, he is going to return. And I believe towards the start of March, he's going to be here. That's why Arsenal really need to gain in Mudryk and João Felix. If at all he finds them here, if at all he finds them at Arsenal, that is going to be another huge boost for Arsenal, because most wins are really going to be made, and obviously Arsenal will be having options off the bench to kill off games of football like never before. So thank you guys for watching in through. Tell him what you think about Arteta tasking Edu to Quicken Mudryk deal before Chelsea hijack it. What are your thoughts about Mohammed Kudus joining Arsenal? Would you love him to join Arsenal? I see him as a player to go in and really do lots of things, and it fits the realistic evaluation of Arsenal, because they're like at 35 million euros. Arsenal could go in and get him. Those are like 30 million pounds. Get Kudus, and obviously competes with Bukayo Saka, because Kudus is really a very fantastic player that is really going to bring in the energy. It's not going to be a Nicolas Pepe, according to me. And what are your thoughts of Jesus putting the clutches down? He's now walking without them. Thank you for watching in through. Smash the like button. Rokani David is my name. May the Lord bless you abundantly. I'm out for now.